Today, we're focusing on the ever evolving landscape of cybersecurity and how businesses can move beyond basic compliance to build true digital resilience.
One of the key triggers as well, especially with small businesses, but attackers look at them as an easy entry point in the supply chain to compromising larger organizations. They have less mature controls, thus it's easier to get into those organizations.
You emphasize the importance of operationalizing security priorities. Ben, what does this practically look like for an organization, and how can businesses move beyond simply identifying risks to implementing effective day-to-day security practices?
For some organizations, a lot have improved over time, but is having that shift that security is everyone's responsibility, ensuring that at a board level, security is owned by a member or members of the board as well.
If you are confident in your organization's ability to withstand and respond to cyber threats, then please remember that proactive planning and robust incident response are essential for building true digital resilience. Hi everyone, welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast, where we explore the critical issues and expert insights that empower Canadian businesses to navigate the complexities of the digital age. This is your host Maheen, and today we're focusing on the ever-evolving landscape of cybersecurity and how businesses can move beyond basic compliance to build true digital resilience. Now, recent trends they highlight the increasing sophistication and success rates of cyber attacks, coupled with the challenges that many organizations face in effectively responding to these threats. Now, this discussion today will provide valuable frameworks and pragmatic solutions for business leaders that are looking to strengthen their security posture. And for that, joining us today is Boi-Doku, the Chief Cybersecurity Strategist at CDW Canada, a seasoned advisor and speaker who equips senior leaders with the insight necessary to drive resilient digital transformation. And today we'll discuss increasing cyber attack success rates, limited incident response capabilities, budget constraints, and how to operationalize security for strategic business value. So, without a further ado, let's welcome our guest, Ben. Ben, we're very pleased to have you with us this afternoon. How are you?
Thank you for having me, Maheen. I'm doing great and I'm excited to talk about the 2025 cybersecurity study.
Now, Ben, let's begin our conversation with something that I, addressed in my intro as well, about increasing cyber attack success rates, because cyber attacks are growing more frequent and sophisticated, exploiting new vulnerabilities across industries. What are some of the key factors that are contributing to this rise in success rates, and what should business leaders understand about the evolving threat landscape?
I'll break that question into a couple of parts. One of the things that's really increasing the attack rates, especially with small businesses, is that their security maturity isn't necessarily as high as enterprise organizations. That being said, attackers like to attack what's the easiest. And because a lot of the small businesses are part of an enterprise organization's supply chain, it's an easy way to get into an organization. I'll give you an example. If I'm a small business and I'm looking to do business with a bank,
Hmm.
the bank will give me 200 questions for compliance that I have to adhere to for my organization. If I do only that, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a secure organization. Security compliance does not equal security. The other part is the rapid AI, generative AI adoption. We use it to help protect us. We use it to become a little bit more creative, but that's what threat actors are using as well. So it's making their attacks more sophisticated. Long are the days where you have emails that the English is not clear. They could use generative AI to ensure that their attempts at compromising you sound very clear. One
Mhm.
step further, if they have enough information about someone in your organization, like the CEO or the CFO, how they speak, what their voice style and tone is, they can incorporate that in their generative AI to make their phishing attempts seem a lot more realistic.
Well, that paints a concerning picture, really. I mean, with the generative AI, as you mentioned, it really underscores the need for a more proactive and strategic approach to cybersecurity than ever before. But thank you so much for highlighting that, Ben.
Thank you.
Now, with the preventative measures, Ben, incidents can still occur. Let's discuss the challenges businesses face in effectively responding to those. Many small and medium-sized businesses, they struggle with limited incident response capabilities. What are some of the common shortcomings in this area, and what are the crucial elements of an effective incident response plan?
Great question. One of the things that we did find is that 42% of the respondents to the study were actually confident in their incident response capabilities. One of the main things that I found throughout my tenure doing this is that a lot of organizations that do have an incident response plan, they rarely test it. And testing in practice is what's going to make that overall practice improve. If you know what to do when an incident happens and you keep practicing, it's like working out in the gym. As much as you train, you're going to increase your muscle, and you want that kind of muscle retention or memory when you're dealing with an incident, whether it's involving executives, who to communicate with from a marketing and PR standpoint, or what to do tactically during a crisis or a breach. The more you practice, the better your results will be.
Right. Now, that's a very critical point, Ben. I mean, having a solid plan in place for when the inevitable happens can significantly mitigate the damage. Listeners, if you are confident in your organization's ability to withstand and respond to cyber threats, then please remember that proactive planning and robust incident response are essential for building true digital resilience. Now, let's get back to our conversation with Ben and explore the challenges of budget constraints. Now, let's dive into how organizations can strategically allocate resources to strengthen their overall security posture, because budget constraints and competing priorities are the reality for many organizations. Please tell us, Ben, how can business leaders effectively prioritize these cybersecurity investments and demonstrate the return on security initiatives to justify those costs?
Okay. As part of the study, we did find that as well. Over 50% of Canadian organizations cite budget constraints as a challenge for their security programs. There's a few things professionals can do in the industry. One is ensuring that we have alignment to business goals and business outcomes. So, if one scenario to paint is, if there was a breach, how would it impact revenue?
Mhm.
And going from there, and just being able to speak in business language to your executives, to your business owners, depending on the size of the business, in terms of what the controls we're looking to implement or the tools looking to implement, how they do suit and fit the situation overall, and ensuring that you're not just buying tools for the sake of buying tools. Another piece is looking to address the core items, the right, what we call basic cyber hygiene, looking to address those. So whether it's identity, cloud misconfigurations, patching, endpoint protection or detection, tackling those first, making it harder for attackers to actually compromise your organization.
Right. That's a key challenge. I mean, aligning security investments with core business objectives and demonstrating tangible value is crucial for security buy in. Let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll dive into how organizations can transform their security priorities into everyday practices that drive lasting protection. Please stay tuned, there is much more to come.
Hey, you think you know UPS? Yeah, that's us. Everybody knows that. You know what you didn't know? This. Okay, try to keep up. Ocean, us. Ground, rail, air, so us. Guess who? Us. Customs cleared, borders cleared, done. Us. Still with me? Wait for it. Boom. Us. Intelligent, automated, fulfillment. Us. Yep, healthcare too. Digital your thing? Yeah, well, book it, ship it, track it. You feeling me yet? Yep, that's all us. That's all UPS.
Welcome back back, everyone. We're continuing our conversation with Ben Boi-Doku, the explorer, on exploring how businesses can operationalize security priorities to ensure consistent protection. Let's jump into the practical steps that you can take to integrate security into your day-to-day operations. Now let's discuss how organizations can seamlessly integrate security practices into their daily operations to ensure lasting protection, because turning security goals into everyday action, it requires a shift from theory to practice. You emphasize the importance of operationalizing security priorities. Ben, what does this practically look like for an organization, and how can businesses move beyond simply identifying risks to implementing effective day-to-day security practices?
Maybe for some organizations, a lot have improved over time, but is having that shift that security is everyone's responsibility, ensuring that at a board level, security is owned by a member or members of the board as well. More tactically, is conducting business focused risk assessments. The outcomes of those risk assessments really help drive your security roadmap. Another one is looking at more quantitative type business risk assessments as well. So not a risk assessment that simply states this possible threat can breach your organization, but actually quantifying it and looking at which threats are more probable and what the financial risk is to the organization based off of that risk.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a very pragmatic and effective approach as well. I mean, embedding security into the fabric of our operations is essential for building a resilient organizations. Now, Ben, two key areas that you focus on are AI governance and security and threat and vulnerability management. Let's discuss those. Um, as AI adoption grows, businesses they must balance innovation with strong governance and proactive threat management to stay secure in a rapidly evolving landscape. What specific governance and security considerations should businesses be addressing? And additionally, what are some effective strategies for ongoing threat and vulnerability management?
Again, another great question. I'm going to tackle it with two different answers. On the governance side, ensuring, like I mentioned, that the board is aware, trained, educated on security risks as well as security threats. With that awareness, would lead to better decision making on boards. Um, Looking at the vulnerability management, the main thing that I like to preach at this point is vulnerability management shouldn't be a one time occurrence in an organization or once a year. It should be continuous. At minimum, I would say it should be done monthly, if not more frequently. New vulnerabilities come out at a moment's notice. You want to stay on top of which vulnerabilities may be in your environment, because that's one vector that attackers will come in and compromise your environment.
Right. Now, that is a great overview, Ben, and thank you for that. I mean, those are critical areas that, especially with the rapid advancements in AI, and you're right, a proactive and well governed approach to both AI and threat management is so vital and so important. And this has been a very enlightening conversation with you, Ben. And, we'd love to conclude with some key insights for our listeners and offer some final advice. What are the key takeaways that you'd like our listeners to remember about increasing cyber attack success rates? And what is that one piece of actionable advice that you would like to give business leaders that are looking to move beyond compliance and achieve strategic, data driven cyber resilience?
I would say this: 70% of organizations invest in cybersecurity programs because of compliance driven requirements, but only 34% of them actually feel like they're secure.
Mhm.
Compliance alone is not enough. Looking to secure your organization takes a more programmatic approach. As I mentioned, risk assessments, business outcome driven risk assessments, that's a first step in building out a roadmap or a plan for your organization. You could build a 12-month security roadmap and then slowly follow and build towards that. If you're starting from a low maturity space, going back to what are attackers attacking most. So again, identity, cloud misconfigurations, unpatched systems, endpoint systems, and email as well. That's very important to take care of from a ground level or a tactical perspective.
Mhm. Ben, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your strategies with us today. I mean, your guidance on building resilient digital transformation is truly valuable for our listeners, and we really appreciate the time that you took out to join us here to share that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Maheen. I would say one last thing.
Hmm.
If you only do what's required, then you're always going to be behind the threat.
Right.
So making sure that you are doing more than just what a compliance requirement is key to at least staying ahead or at least keeping up with the threat. And if you'd like to find out more about our survey, our study, you can find it at cdw.ca/cybersecurity trends.
That's amazing. Thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
And that was an insightful conversation with Ben Boi-Doku, the Chief Cybersecurity Strategist at CDW Canada, on the critical steps businesses need to take to move beyond compliance and build true cyber resilience. His strategic insights offer a valuable roadmap for navigating the evolving threat landscape. And again, we'd love to thank you all for joining us on the podcast. We truly appreciate your continued support. Please be sure to subscribe to our podcast for more expert insights and resources that can help your business thrive. You can also visit our website, CanadianSME.ca, for valuable information and tools. Special shout out to our partners, RBC, UPS, and Google, for their ongoing commitment to empowering small businesses in Canada. Until next time, please keep innovating and striving for success. We'll see you in the next episode.